I'm now going to install guttering on this garage. You can see that we've already painted the fascia boards. The gutter was taken off yesterday. We sanded it down, gave it 2 coats of primer and 1 top coat of gloss. We're going to be fitting gutter brackets like that, and we've got a couple of unions and a couple of 90-degree bends. These are from the Flowplast range. When you're fitting guttering like this, you need to follow the manufacturer's instructions. We're going to put a fall on this gutter of approximately 1 mil per metre. The garage is 6 metres long, so it's going to be 6 millimetre lower at one end than what it is at the end where we start. The gutter clips like that simply fit to the fascia board with screws. Whenever you're doing anything like this, you should use rust-proof screws. That's why we're using these Turbo Gold XT screws. So they're going to hold up the gutter clips. When you come to insert your actual gutter into the unions or into any joint, you'll see a line which shows you where you need to insert your gutter into. It's important that your gutter is cut squarely and then it goes into that line. The gasket that's in there will then make a perfect watertight seal. That also allows for expansion and contraction when the actual gutter heats up and cools down, because when the sunlight's on it, it can expand considerably. This garage is only a couple of metres from the floor. If you're doing this on an house, it's highly recommended to use scaffolding. You do not want to be trying to do this off a ladder. It is extremely dangerous. Loads of people are injured every year or even killed falling from ladders. So therefore, if you're going to do this, you are much better off getting the scaffold erected. To start off with, you need to work out where you're going to put your first bracket, and in this case I'm going to put it approximately there. So we've now got a mark where the first bracket will be positioned. We can now use that as a reference point, and we can measure every 750 mil in that direction, and that is where every other bracket needs to be positioned. I can now measure 750 mil away from the first hole and put another mark. And that will be the position of the second bracket. I've now put a vertical line in every position where a bracket needs to be. So I've done the first one there, and then every 750 mil down until we get to the gutter union. The first bracket is going to be as high up as possible, so that's going to be there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a steel rule, and I'm going to measure from the bottom of the fascia board to the top of the gutter bracket, which is 133 millimetres. I'm now going to go down the fascia board, and I'm going to mark 1 millimetre less at every bracket position. So at the next one I'll mark it at 132 millimetres, and at the next one 131 millimetres, and so on until I get to the other end. And I'm going to start fixing the brackets to the fascia board. Another way of doing this is to fix your first bracket in position like that, and then tie a chalk line around it and get it to the correct level that you want it at the other end, and let it snap, and then you will have a line that you can follow. But it's just as easy doing it this way. So I'm now going to get that in the correct position, and then I'm going to put 2 Turbo Gold XT screws in each bracket to hold it in position. I'm now going to fit the stop end onto the gutter. To do that, simply insert the gutter till it goes as far as it can go to the back of the fitting, and then just pull the front of the fitting over it until it clips in position, like that. And as you can see, there is a line there where the actual gutter needs to be up to. If it's shorter than that line, you will get a leaking gutter. If it's longer than that line, you'll get problems when it eats up and expands. So I'm going to push that in there until it's up to the line. So it's now all the way up at the back, and I just need to pull it in to the front and get that clip over the top of it. I'm now going to push the gutter into all the clips and get it in the correct position. And we want it so that it's just slightly sticking past at this point. Once it's in, I can then turn the gutter and then I can clip the clips in position. Again, when you do this, you need to make sure that you put the back in first and then flip the front over. Now we've got the gutter clipped in position, we can now fix the union to the fascia board. I've now attached a union on that end and the bend on that end. I'm now going to push this into position. Then I'm going to make sure it's clipped in at every bracket. And now all we need to do is measure the gap between those 2 points, and we can cut a piece to fit in there. I'm now going to take a measurement in the gutter from one cut line to the next cut line. And then we can take an accurate measurement, we can cut that piece exact, and that piece will just slot right in there. You can now cut the gutter to length using an hacksaw. You can now just insert the gutter into the 2 unions, ensuring it goes in the clip as well.